On Thanksgiving Eve in 1971, a man extorted a commercial airliner, secured $200,000, jumped out of the plane into a freezing storm, and completely vanished. He had boarded Northwest Orient Flight 305 in Portland earlier that afternoon. A quiet man in his mid-40s, wearing a dark business suit, he paid for his ticket in cash under the alias Dan Cooper. Shortly after takeoff, Cooper casually revealed a briefcase full of wires and red cylinders to a flight attendant. To defuse this airborne bomb threat, the pilots were forced to land in Seattle, where Cooper swapped 36 passengers for 4 parachutes and his ransom cash. What followed was Norjack, one of the most extensive search operations in FBI history. Search teams scoured miles of the rugged Pacific Northwest wilderness. They found nothing. No body, no parachutes, no trace of the man. The total absence of physical evidence on the ground shifted the focus of the investigation back to the aircraft itself, looking for clues in the specific way Cooper managed his escape. The first lead is the suspect's technical proficiency. The demands he made to the flight crew required a level of aviation knowledge that most criminals simply wouldn't possess. For his getaway, he specifically requested a Boeing 727. He knew this aircraft was equipped with an aft air stair, a set of passenger steps located under the tail that could be lowered mid-flight. Few civilians knew this was an option. When ordered toward Mexico, he forced pilots to maintain exactly 10,000 feet. Standard cruising altitudes cause fatal hypoxia, but 10,000 feet ensured breathable air. To jump, he ordered landing gear and wing flaps deployed, keeping speed safely under 200 knots. This combination of mechanical, atmospheric, and aerodynamic knowledge narrowed the suspect pool to a very specific technical world. While an aircraft mechanic or a specialized civilian skydiver might have known the hardware, the FBI focused on a military paratrooper profile, someone trained not just to know the plane, but to survive the exit. By 8 p.m., the plane was flying through pitch-black darkness over dense forests. Alone in the back of the jet, Cooper lowered the rear stairs and stepped off the ledge into the night sky. He plummeted straight down into a freezing, violent rainstorm. He had no thermal gear, no helmet, and zero visibility. He was wearing a business suit, a trench coat, and a pair of slip-on loafers. The FBI's analysis of the jump is bleak. Their experts concluded that falling into rugged mountain terrain at night without survival gear or visibility results in either a high-velocity impact or immediate death from hypothermia. But investigators knew the plane's exact speed, altitude, and flight path. They mapped the drop zone grid by grid. Yet not a single piece of evidence, no body, no primary parachute, no reserve chute, has ever been recovered from the forest. The physical realities of the leap suggest it is impossible to survive, yet the total absence of any human remains or equipment directly challenges that conclusion. The case went cold for 9 years. Then, in 1980, a young boy named Brian Ingram was digging in the sand at Tenna Bar, along the Columbia River. He unearthed 3 packets of rotting $20 bills, located miles away from Cooper's estimated drop zone. This image shows the recovered bills, totaling $5,800. The FBI found the serial numbers perfectly matched Cooper's ransom cash. But despite spending nearly a decade exposed to the elements, the rubber bands holding the packets together were strangely still intact. This poses a difficult hydrological problem. Did river currents carry these undles down from the mountains over several seasons without destroying those thin rubber bands? Or did Cooper survive, hike out, and intentionally bury the money to retrieve later? The Tenna Bar cache remains the ultimate conflicting artifact. As the only definitive piece of physical evidence recovered since 1971, it supports both his survival and his demise with equal weight. The FBI eventually suspended the Norjack investigation. Investigators had to accept a harsh reality. Definitive proof of Cooper's fate may simply never be found. He exploited specific technical vulnerabilities in the aviation system, yet he ultimately relied on the winter wilderness as his primary means of escape. The freezing storm, the unforgiving wilderness, the vast river systems, the very elements he used to pull off his escape are the exact same elements capable of destroying all physical evidence of him. The hijacking was engineered with such precision that it leaves no room for a definitive answer. Cooper left behind a record that balances on a knife edge between a technical survival against all odds and the quiet certainty of a fatal fall.